I snuck out of my room in the middle of the night and I went into the living room and I curled up on the ottoman. It was Christmas Eve and I was trying to stay close to the tree, the multicolored lights on, glowing. And I really wanted to catch Santa Claus. I really wanted to catch him. I really wanted to see him. And early in the morning, I got up and I walked over to the doorway between the living room and the kitchen. And I peeked my head around the corner. And oh my God, man, Santa, he's there. He's there. He's in the kitchen. He must have fallen asleep in the kitchen. Because I left cookies and eggnog and I left carrots for the reindeer and I see his hand. I see his hand there and he must have fallen asleep and I caught him. I see him. Oh man, I'm terrified. And I turn around and I run through the house to my parents' bedroom. Mom and Dad, wake up. Hey, wake up, wake up. Santa, he's still here. He's still here. I saw him. He's still here. And they get up and I follow them back through the rooms, through the living room. And I was standing there at that doorway to the kitchen, and I looked up at them, at their faces, and they looked at each other like, what is she talking about? And I looked all the way around the corner, not just peeked, but I actually saw the view. And it was a stocking. It looked like a mitten, a red mitten, like Santa would wear, laying on the table, full of goodies, spilling out with goodies, so heavy that it had to be placed on that table. And I was so relieved. And I was so excited. And that's a story that I want to tell you about when I was about 4 years old. I'm going to say, I'm going to guess, kind of based off of what my parents had told me and what I can remember. But yeah, I always loved Christmas. Always wanted to, well, I think even my brother and I both, my brother's 5 years younger than me, but we always wanted to like stay up. We wanted to catch Santa. We wanted to, we didn't want to miss anything. And I remember curling up, I want to say like a little cat on this ottoman, like I guess when you're 4 years old, you're pretty small, and something like an ottoman seems pretty big, but apparently I was able to do that. And we didn't have a fireplace or anything. And I remember asking my folks, well, how does Santa get in if, there was no fireplace. We're talking about stereotypical traditions here, and I don't know. I think they just said something about him coming through the front door. Anyway, but yeah, I was curled up on this ottoman, and I had gotten up, and I had peeked around the corner, and I swear in previous times, like I said, I was probably 4 years old, but they used to put the stockings on the door frame. The door frame. I still do that because I remember that being how it was done at one time. But for whatever reason, this particular Christmas, they my parents didn't put the stocking on the door frame. They put it on the table where the cookies and the eggnog and the carrots for the reindeers, all that for Santa and everything. And when I peeked around that corner, I just peeked, and I'm using my hand here, but I just saw a red mitten. I just saw a red mitten laying there on the table. Like that. Holy crap. I mean, here I am thinking that finally I've caught Santa. This is what I've been waiting for. But I was also absolutely terrified and running through the house, and we didn't have a big home, but I can still remember it to this day, and that was, well, geez Louise, like 35 years ago, 45 years ago, 45, 35? Well, 4, and I'm 46. Well, crap, it was over 40 years ago. Sorry, fuzzy math. But I remember being absolutely petrified, turning around and running like my life depended on it. Like, in my mind, Santa was behind me, like running after me and was going to punish me and I don't know, eat me up, chomp me up. I don't know. Like, a child's imagination is quite fascinating. And I ran into their bedroom, and I was like, get up, get up, get up. And I guess I kind of wanted them to protect me, to save me. And I felt like I have done something wrong, because you're always told, well, you're not supposed to see Santa. You're not supposed to see that. You're not, if you do, you're going to get in trouble. And here I'm like, oh man, they were right. And following them back to the doorway. And I remember being small and looking up at them and, seeing their faces, and they're like, oh, what? And I can look around the corner, and it's like just a damn stocking laying there. Just a stocking full of stuff. And I wasn't in trouble at all. I didn't see Santa, and Santa didn't eat me up or anything like that. But that's a funny little story. That's a funny little story in my life that I remember at a very young age. I've reflected on that many times and told that story many times. Gosh, 'tis the season. But a child's imagination, gosh, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny?